Hey, history fans. Welcome back to World History by Jew. I'm your lecturer, Seth Fleishman. Tonight I've got a short for you, a little special edition. I honestly couldn't decide where to fit this into one of my normal lectures. And while it's interesting, it pertains to what we've been talking about, it's not necessary for the series, but I didn't want to skip it. So in the end, I decided I recorded as a short little special, like 8 or 10 minutes, just to have on a week that I knew I was dealing with a lot of content. So we're going to be talking about pottery and Tarsus and some recent tests. Yeah, I think you would find it of interest. So let's hop right in. Here's our map that you've seen many times now. We are still focusing on Turkey. So I'm going to zoom in to this purple box in the southeastern quadrant of Turkey. And here's where I want to focus. We are going to talk about Tarsus. So this right here, this purple box again is just the zoomed in version of which is on the previous slide. We're now drilling into the southeastern quadrant of Turkey, into Cilicia, and specifically the province of Adana. And I want to talk about Tarsus. Now, Tarsus is a significant city. It's actually the fourth largest city in Turkey. It is the port of Cilicia. It has about 6,000 years of history. So the city's really been around for a while. And today it's home to some 3 million people, at least Tarsus in the metropolitan area is. So it still has a lot going on today. For Christians, it has significance as being the hometown of Paul the Apostle. And for even Romans, it had significance as the capital of Cilicia. So a lot of significance, a lot of time, a lot of history. But what I want to look at tonight is the pottery that's been discovered in Tarsus. Let's take a look. I love doing these pottery analyses. If you enjoy this, I have a couple other lectures that I really did this in detail. In fact, even more detail than I'm going to do tonight. So I will, if you want to check out my lecture Z11 or Z13, you'll see some more of this if you like it. But what I want to do is analyze the pottery, specifically pottery at Tarsus, and how that also presents this Bronze Age collapse story. Okay, so this Aegean Mycenean style pottery, and I have some examples here. These are all gorgeous pieces, but this style spread with the Sea People and is very easily been traced. This is not opinion, this is fact. It's very easily been traced that this pottery started out in the Aegean and it spread to Western Anatolia and then to Cyprus, and then from Cyprus to Southern Anatolia, and then it spread from there to the Levant. Now the technical term, the scholarly term, is this late Helladic IIIC. So I'm going to say 3C tonight. I just want you to know why I'm saying 3C. That just is this specific type of pottery dated to 1200 to 1050 BCE. All right, that's our 3C, 1200 to 1050 BCE. Now, there was some testing done in Tarsus, and there were two key tests that I want to discuss tonight. And so they found all these fragments of this 3C pottery, and there was extensive neutron analyses done on the pieces of pottery found in Tarsus from this era. There were some questions to be answered. Was it locally made or was it imported? If it was imported, where was it from? And then does it look like this pottery is there because of trade or because people actually settled there? All right, now I'm going to pull the results from two different tests. Okay, so we have tests in 2011 and 2018. If you want to read the details, I have it here and right here, number 2 and number 3 of my sources, and you can Google those, and you can download the PDF and read the details if you want to know. But I'm going to try to summarize here. So the 3C replaced much, but not all, of the Hittite era pottery. So we have specific, the Cilician monochrome ware that we know were was the local pottery before the Greeks came in. So the 3C replaced a lot of it, but not all of it. It was still there. The indication would be that you still had natives, but they mixed with the Greeks. Okay. Now, are these people really settling, or are these Greeks trading? And that's where the next part comes in. So the largest chunk of these pieces, as told by the neutron analyses, about a third of them were the 3C style, the Mycenean style, but they were made in Cilicia. All right, it's important. We'll come back to it. About 25%, the next largest amount actually comes from Cyprus. Okay, so we know Cyprus was this huge source of trade at this point in time in the Eastern Mediterranean. We know that the movement of the style comes from Cyprus and then moves to southern Anatolia, and we're dealing with southeastern Anatolia right now, so it makes sense. There is a third place one, and he didn't list the percentage, but there was the third place one is listed as likely local. So there can be for sure this Mycenean pottery is from Cilicia, but it probably is. So we see approximately half is local, another quarter is from Cyprus, but that makes 3/4 being, or close to 3/4 being this Mycenean 3C style. So there was another grouping that's its last line, and that was just from all over the Aegean. That's like really all over. So you couldn't really get much of a message from that, except to say that they were definitely trading throughout the Mediterranean region. So what is this telling us? The conclusions are that the timing of this pottery, this Greek pottery that's dated from 1200 to 1050 BCE, is right after the Bronze Age collapse, when you'd expect the Greeks to move in to Cilicia and start settling that area to mix with the local population. Because it's made locally, that indicates immigration of these Greeks, that this culture is moving in to stay. But there's still some native ware around, so they must have mixed some with the native population. They didn't just completely wipe them out or push them out. I should mention that this mix of 3C pottery is comparable to only one other place that's been tested, and that is Philistia, which is really amazing. But it just shows you the comparison between the two. You both have these large Greek culture moving in, but still some locals around. It's a nice comparison. Now, I want to show you a couple more maps. One you've seen before, one you haven't, but I think you're going to find this interesting. Let me read this top line that I read to you before. Mycenean 3C pottery moved from the Aegean, right, to Western Anatolia, to Cyprus, to southern Anatolia, to the Levant. But this is not a map of the spread of pottery. This is a map of the spread of the sea people. Isn't it amazing how it matches up? Now, this next map I haven't shown you before. This actually came from the more recent of those neutron analyses, but it's showing you the pottery that's been tested and its origins. So this, see how we have this little square right here? That means that some of the pottery came from Cyprus. Remember, 25% came from Cyprus, so we know that. But also, look, Western Anatolia, and specifically right here at Mira, where Synopsis is from, is one of the places. So you have this pottery that seemed to come from Western Anatolia moving here. And what's the other one moving in this direction? Well, you've got another type here with these are your little triangles, including Troy, right? It's very convenient that Troy and Western Anatolia, you have this pottery moving in this direction as well and being found in this part of the Levant. And the map, if you just have these imaginary arrows of where the pottery is going, you can see it matches with the sea people. So that's fun. Okay, this last map I want to show you, just one more point I want to make. I could be accused of circular logic, right? When I show you these maps and the movement of the sea peoples and say, hey, look, the pottery matches that movement, someone can say, well, Seth, that pottery is kind of how they made the map. And yes, it is a piece of the equation to how archaeologists have determined the movement of the sea people. So there's maybe a little bit of circular logic there, but I don't mean it like that. What I want to do is extract just the pottery aspect of it and look at just the movement of the pottery by itself and how it aligns with the sea people, of course, which, yes, it's part of that ingredient. When you bake the cake of the sea people movement, a big ingredient is the pottery and determining the movement. But I then wanted to extract it from that movement and show you how it matches with Mopsus, which is fantastic, how it aligns with what we know of Mopsus and Tarsus, and then how that then compares to Philistia. And it all just matches up so well. I hope you'll also appreciate just taking a look at that one ingredient instead of the overall cake and seeing what we come up with. Okay, so that's it. A little bit shorter than you're used to with my videos, but I hope you like it. If you do like it, please make sure you like the video. Tell your friends to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you back with a normal lecture in the very near future.